sound? Are we good? Hi, everyone. Welcome to Livepeer Fireside. Thanks for joining. This is our weekly event where we talk about all the big things happening in the Livepeer ecosystem. My name is N, pronouns are they, them, and I am the community lead at Livepeer Foundation. So, Discord is where everything in the community happens, everything in our ecosystem happens. So it's definitely important for you to join that if you're interested in participating and all the amazing things that are happening within our ecosystem. So please scan this QR code to join our server and tap in with all the amazing folks you see today. Additionally, we have a new player in the library ecosystem called Daydream. Daydream is building real-time video AI. So they have an API that allows builders and researchers to create applications, plugins that use real-time video AI, and all that is running on Livepeer's network. So scan this QR code and you can get access to that API today. So first we have some community updates, new section alert, but I just wanted to put a place where we highlight all of the amazing things happening on the network. The first two are that the Transformation SP and the Lizer SP both passed the on-chain treasury. So congratulations to First Foundation and then second serial winner who proposed the Lizer SP. Congrats to both of us. Of course, you'll hear more from Rich today about the passing of the Transformation SP. We have, over the last week, had $18,743 paid out on chain. Our participation rate is again under 50% at 48.1%, and that means our inflation rate is ticking up again. We also have an increase in the estimated usage on the network. So a lot's in the positive. However, we'd love to see that participation rate get above 50% again, so we can see the inflation rate start ticking back down. All right, for our agenda today, we have Foundation up first, then we have the Live Infra SPE presenting, and then finally Frameworks SPE presenting. So let's bring Rich on up and get started with Foundation. Hi, Rich.
Hello. How are we doing? Oh, you've gone. Thanks, Sam. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rich, and I lead growth and strategy at the Livepeer Foundation. And super excited to give a little update with the foundation. First of all, a huge thank you to everyone who voted on the Transformation SPE proposal that passed earlier this week, along with Liza Labs. So a big shout out to Serial Winner and the team. And yeah, let's dive into what we're going to be doing. So for those of you who don't know, the mission of the Livepeer Foundation is to steward the strategy, ecosystem growth, core development of the Livepeer project. We've been focusing on the strategic element, looking at advisory boards and coming up with long-term, near-term tactical recommendations, long-term strategic pillars for the ecosystem. We're now turning our attention to how we can grow the ecosystem as a whole, attract new talent, and coordinate core development, core contributors within the ecosystem. Next slide. We presented our strategy to accelerate the Livepeer project through Project Surge, which is our vision for the next chapter of the Livepeer project, and how we can grow as an ecosystem and explore different avenues and verticals for the project as a whole. Next slide. And to fuel this next chapter, we presented a short-term proposal through the Transformation SPE. This is a 4-month proposal set to work on 3 different work streams across capital markets, across ecosystem growth, and across core development. And super excited to say that earlier this week, the proposal passed. Next slide. Now, one of the key things that we've been saying throughout this process is the Transformation SPE will route funding back into the contributor community through RFPs. Slight typo here. All of the funding from the Transformation SPE will be going back into the community, and we'll be using RFPs as a key funding mechanism to enable this. Next slide. So what are RFPs? Requests for proposals. RFPs are a funding mechanism designed to attract talent, both from within the ecosystem, but also outside, to find market prices, so ensure that whatever work is being done within the ecosystem is being fairly priced and within a market. For instance, 5 to 10 different proposals, you're going to get a feel for what a fair market price is, and then tracking work in a transparent manner. And this will be done through having clear deliverables and milestones, as the SPE funding mechanism also has. But the difference here is that payment is only delivered when deliverables milestones are reached. Next slide. And the Livepeer Foundation will be using a standardized process for RFPs. We'll start with putting out requirements, which will be creating the objectives, the decision criteria, and giving details of what we're looking for from the different proposals. Then there'll be a submission period where you can then post, you or any core contributor, both within the ecosystem or an interested contributor outside the ecosystem, can then post their proposals. And the aim of that period is to really activate and direct talent towards the mission critical items that we need to be working on within the ecosystem. Then there will be a review period. This will be by the group that puts forward the RFP, in this case, the Livepeer Foundation. There will also be advisors working with the Livepeer Foundation to ensure that each proposal is then reviewed. And there's also asking of questions to those putting in proposals, but also the answering of questions from those proposers as well. Then the next step is decision. So making a decision within a committee, within a group, both within the Livepeer Foundation. There'll be a core decision maker with an advisor, with advisors working with them, and then the announcement publicly. And before that, obviously, private announcement to each proposer, to each proposal giver, to ensure that there is some transparency before the final decision is made. Then the work kicks off, and a key thing will be working with different stakeholders, as we'll see with the two RFPs that we're presenting today, that there will be different stakeholders involved, and it's really key that all stakeholders are brought in and along that journey. And then finally, there'll be milestone tracking. And what's key here is that the milestones will be tracked, and payment will be delivered on each deliverable completion, right? This is not a lump sum at the beginning, as with the SPE mechanism. There will be controlled spending, controlled payout, depending on the deliverables achieved. Next slide. So super excited that today we've just put 2 mission critical RFPs onto the forum. These are public. They're not open for discussion. They're not, as other forum posts are, an open discussion. They will be. We're only looking for people looking to put forward proposals on there. And what's key is, if you have any questions, you can always ask in the Discord beforehand. Or if you want to put your proposal forward, you can also update that proposal and edit that proposal until the final deadline. So the 2 mission critical RFPs that we have is, first of all, documentation RFP. This is to restructure, refresh, and modernize Livepeer's documentation for different personas. So thinking of documentation for orchestrators, for gateway operators, for developers, and for delegators. Really rethinking how we want to structure that from an information architecture perspective, and ensuring that a new refreshed documentation goes live within the next couple of months. And the second one is an Explorer RFP, and that's restoring the Livepeer Explorer to a secure, maintainable, and high performance state. There have been some problems which have quickly been patched, but we want to ensure that there's a long-term stable Explorer, and ensure that this is maintained to high standards as with other ecosystems. I've put in two forum QR codes here. If you scan them, you'll go through to the forum posts. As I said, this is not for comment. Comment and discussion will be in Discord, and I'm going to be posting something shortly which will go into a bit more detail. So super excited to get these live, and if you have any questions on them, please do reach out to me or any of the foundation team. I'll be leading the RFP process for the documentation RFP. Rick will be leading the RFP process for the Explorer RFP. Maybe one final comment also is, we really hope this can be used by any SPE. We've created the RFP category on the forum so that any folks who want to do an RFP can, so long as that they're running an SPE or a core entity within the Livepeer ecosystem. So, like I said, we're trying to be a model for the ecosystem on the Livepeer Foundation side, but really encourage any SPE to come forward if there is work that wants to be community focused, community oriented. Awesome.
Well, thanks so much, Rich. Just a quick question. What are the timelines like for people in the audience and on Twitter who are interested in knowing when the next update will be about these RFPs?
Great question. Should have put that on there. There's 1 week, right? So we're on the 17th of September. So that on the 24th of September, decisions that would be the end of the review, the proposal period, the submission period. Sorry. So you need to get your submissions in by then, and then I think there is a 1 week deliberation period for the Explorer SP and 2 day for the documentation RFP. One thing I would say is get your proposals in sooner rather than later, and you can always update them until the final deadline. Often there'll be a sort of back and forth between the foundation and the proposal. I need a proper word for this. Is it proposal submitter?
Submitter is good, I think. Yeah.
The person submitting the proposal. So yeah, that's that. We have a week to. You have a week to submit.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rich, and congrats on getting the process out there. And of course, it's been a lot of hard work. So thank you to yourself, Rick, and Ben, and Joe, who have been really behind the scenes working on this.
And to yourself. So thank you for being
involved. I'm new in town.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ed. Take it easy.
Okay. The last thing I wanted to mention here is if anyone has anyone in their network who they think might be a good fit for either RFP. The whole point of this is really to get the community activated, to get your networks activated, to have this be an opportunity to call in talent to our ecosystem, to call in people who want to be engaged and help build the world's open video infrastructure. So I call all the folks in the community and all the people on Twitter. If you're not in the community, first join the community. But second, use this as an opportunity to bring more folks into the fold and join the journey that we've all been on. All right. Next up is the Live Infra SP update. So welcome up. Wrong person. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome up. How are you doing?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Thanks for bringing me on. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Joey. I'm the founder of the Live Infra SPE. As a lot of you may already know, I run the FTK staking orchestrator. I've been a member of the Livepeer community for several years now. And I kind of started my journey by, for contributing to the community by providing the community Arbitrum node. And that has been a fun project to work on. But, in order to scale up and make it more reliable, needed to put some more effort and funding into it. So I created the Live Infra SPE. The mission is to provide free, reliable blockchain infrastructure to the Livepeer ecosystem. And that all starts with revamping the community RPC node service. So Live Infra received its first round of funding through the Livepeer Treasury in July. And I want to thank the community again, because that proposal to the Treasury went through unanimously with no votes against. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your trust and support. I want to provide just an update on the milestones that were laid out in that proposal and what's been achieved so far. So across really Q3, there were several things that we're trying to accomplish with the first round of funding. So first and foremost, I provisioned and deployed all new infrastructure for both Arbitrum RPC nodes and Ethereum nodes. It's geo-distributed pools in the US and in Europe. And again, that is both Arbitrum and Ethereum. In putting that new infrastructure out there, I'll call it the legacy service, or V1 of the community node, was onboarded to that as well. So if you've been using that, it's already been deployed on this infrastructure. So that was really achieved in the first month or two. Now, in the kind of second phase, in milestone 2, a lot of things were meant to happen. So we've got V2 of the service, which really the goal of redesigning the software, if you will, was to make it more reliable, right? Get more real-time health checks, failovers occurring if and when requests fail or RPC backends go down. I'm happy to say that V2 has been released. It's up, it's functional, and all of the mechanisms that I discussed in this milestone have been deployed. The only thing in this milestone that I would say is partially complete is there was provision in the proposal about enhancing the RPC balancer tool, which is a separate open source tool that I created for anybody, the repos out there on GitHub, to basically set up your own like RPC pool locally to point to, and you can connect multiple backends to it. So, providing a reliable, RPC service was the goal of the community RPC node, but who doesn't like redundancy, right? So you can connect the RPC node, community node to it. Infura, Alchemy, your own self-hosted node. The idea is it keeps track of health and ensures that when you make a request, it's going to get routed to a reliable backend. So now that V2 of the community node software has been released, finishing updates to the RPC balancer is my top priority. And I'm hoping to complete it by the end of September, which would be the end of month 3, and meet the milestone deadline. So more updates to come there. Lastly, the final promise of this proposal was to provide more transparent metrics, node status, uptime, and I have integrated all of that directly within the new service. So at any point in time, you can go to the website and pull up the dashboards for both Arbitrum and Ethereum. You can see the health and sync status of all the nodes in rotation. And it provides an uptime statistic there as well. So I'd like to move on to the next slide and just kind of use this forum as an opportunity to announce the V2 release more formally. This is now up, live, and working. And I'd like to give just a brief demonstration. And I assume I can share my screen. Let me do this. Okay. So you should be seeing the liveinfra.spe.com site. This is the new on-ramp for users in the community to join and use the community node service. You'll see it's pretty straightforward. When you're here, if you authenticate your wallet with any wallet that's an active participant in the Livepeer ecosystem, either an orchestrator, a broadcaster, or a delegator, as long as you're delegating at least 100 LPT, you can sign in. And all it asks you to do is sign a message just so it can confirm you own the wallet. And from there, it verifies that you're a Livepeer participant and gives you the opportunity to create your RPC endpoints. So as promised, I wanted to make sure not just to provide Arbitrum access, but also provide access to L1 RPC requests. So, from this page, you can easily create your endpoints. And, depending on what your use case is, whether it's L1 or L2, this is now the endpoint that you can use in your configurations. And I say just a little demonstration. If I just make a block request, you'll see it comes back, right? So that's the new service. The next things on my radar, or that I'm looking to complete, again, is the RPC balancer tool, enhancements there to make that a little bit more robust in its redundancy and failover. And then I'm continuing to kind of tune the retry and failover mechanisms in the V2 service. So I encourage the community to come use this. I'll be posting about it in the Livepeer Discord here today, so you'll have live access to that link, and give it a shot. Let me know your feedback.
Thank you so much. Definitely take up that offer in the community, guys. Give feedback. One question I have is, do you see this eventually being integrated into the Explorer? Is that something that might be valuable there? Kind of, what do you see? I know you had mentioned some other things you want to do, but how do you see this being a more integrated part of the ecosystem outside of just the website?
Well, I think that's the simple thing about it is, if you are an ecosystem participant, again, orchestrator, broadcaster, delegator, you can use this service however you see fit. There are no rate limits. The back end is very robust and beefy. It can handle quite a load. So, I mean, I would encourage the Explorer development team to give it a shot as the RPC backend choice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we will hopefully see more details in the server when you post them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's awesome. I'm excited to check that out myself. I was looking at it on the side, and really nicely done. All right. Oops, sorry, typo on this. Frameworks SP, welcome up to you, Marco. How are you doing today?
Doing well. How about you?
Doing well. I'm excited to see the updates, and feel free to take it away.
Cool. So my name is Marco. I'm the lead for the Frameworks SP, and today I'm here to give you all a brief status update, especially after we had the IBC show last week. So let's share some lessons and where we're headed. Next slide, please. So first of all, I want to briefly go over how do you make sales in the video industry in general, because it's not what people might be used to. By the way, a booth like you see in the picture there, it costs you about 20,000 euros. So it's quite expensive. We went with a combined booth co-marketing under the Mist Server brand to speak to the Web2 audience that walks around at that conference. And so one thing people might not know about a trade show is that it's not the place where you actually make sales or sign a letter of intent. It's mostly for visibility and lead generation. And then after the show, you have post-show follow-ups and very long sales cycles. And so you start off in an introductory phase where you just get to know each other and each other's product. Then you have a pilot where the customer usually runs your solution next to their existing solution, and they compare performance and costs and time to first frame and rebuffer rates and stuff like that. After that, you get to an integration phase, which can take months or even a whole year or more, where they actually wire your product into their actual platform. And then you have rollout to production, and you start to earn some revenue and sign the final contracts. So in order to speed this kind of stuff up, you need to have reference deployments, you need to have case studies, you need to have a proven track record, which is difficult if you're starting out, of course. Nice API to work with. And so on this area, we're going to be exploring making some highly targeted integration kits to take away friction, specifically for people that are looking to enter this pilot phase. So for example, we're looking into a security kit for people that need to control and manage a group of IP cameras, and they can then configure retention policies and maybe enrich them with some AI features. But usually this is already built into the camera. You can just use it as is. Next slide, please. So one of the goals for the conference was also to figure out the core table stakes features and some differentiators. And table stakes is basically your core must-have features, which everyone already offers and everyone asks for. So you need a robust global content delivery network, and you need data analytics so people can see the performance and the rebuffer rates and viewership behavior. And you need, of course, a very nice developer UX, so API, documentation, support lines, and these are all mandatory. And some incumbents, like, for example, Max, is really strong here. And so even if you execute really well there, you might not even be a differentiating factor because everyone does it well. Another thing to mention is AI was on almost any booth, usually in the form of transcription and overdubbing. It's definitely something which we might add to frameworks, but it's not going to be a wedge into the market, especially because the booths there, some of them have custom machine learning pipelines, and they don't use Whisper, right, which we would do. By the way, on the picture, you see a colleague of mine. He had a talk about building an open source CDN, which is online if you want to view that. And of course, he tried to sell frameworks during the presentation as well. Last thing to mention is about streaming protocols, because there was a new protocol announced called WebRTS. So it wasn't really important. You can forget about it immediately. The de facto streaming protocols are still RTMP, WIP and Web, SRT, and HLS, and its many variant protocols. And we finally see enhanced RTMP getting implemented in media servers like ours, which gives you a bunch of extra codecs and features, but it's not widely implemented yet. But it might be a nice feature because we have it and others don't. Which brings us to the next slide, which is differentiation. So besides these core features, we really need to stand out and capture a wedge in the market. And so we're trying to target niche, underserved markets and try to get your first fans there. So for example, as I mentioned, NVR or security workflows is very locked down. You have not a lot of choice. And we already have the requirements in the media server. So it's an easy entry point for us to get like a basic IP camera management software console out there. Secondly, and to my surprise, openness and self-hostability is still quite rare. And even a project like Wowza is bleeding customers, mostly because they have a very weird pricing model, which is quite expensive, even if you're self-hosting. So might be an opportunity for us to capture some ex-Wowza users, like we have been with MISServer, but now as the frameworks, of course. And lastly, the most promising avenue is going to be being a bridge between the IP and broadcast industry, because the like traditional broadcasters, they don't use hardware that we're used to. They use fancy cameras which carry raw video and audio samples over a wire, and then you need to encode it and prepare it for transport over IP if you want to stream it to remote viewers. And here as well, we have a customer on the MISServer side that uses our media server for a remote production rig. So they don't have to drive a whole van to a location. They could just have one central location and stream in these raw video feeds to their production rig and do the switching and whatnot. And so this is definitely an area which we want to enter with frameworks as well. We had a demo of this technology at our booth, and by far most people asked about this, like, hey, how can I get started with this? So, we're going to try and make that the main attraction of frameworks, hopefully. Next slide, please. So I think I'm going to just skip this slide because I already talked about the architecture in the Treasury talks, but I made some adjustments there in the repository as well. It's just a high-level architectural overview of how frameworks is made, how it's flexible in deployment and pricing models, and how we're going to experiment with new features like this. Next slide. So lastly, I'm already out of time, so I'm going to go quickly again. We're looking into some partnerships or ecosystem potentials. First of all, the foundation introduced us to Blockcast, which is actually a DCDN. And they claim to have terabytes per second of capacity, which is pretty nice. They're looking for video primitives. We are looking for cost-effective CDN. And we even have a similar architecture. So it would be really nice if we can have some kind of partnership between Livepeer and Blockcast, and it would be beneficial for the both of us. Next up, bare metal providers. Of course, you can't have all eggs in one basket. These are the most predictable and cost-effective way to get high quality. So we want to partner with some more bare metal providers. We're very happy with NobleServe, but as I said, you can't have one provider in the backend. And lastly, we're also looking into some partnerships with our existing Mist customers. So for example, Restream, which a lot of people might be familiar with, is built on MISServer, so we're highly compatible with them. And it would be great if I don't have to implement restreaming to every social platform, but I can just, have an implementation with Restream, and then, would be beneficial to the both of us again. And some of you might be surprised by this, but lots of American churches are quite modern. They all have video feeds and recording, and so I want to put some of the MISServer customers that currently use MISServer and put them on the frameworks pipeline. And they have very simple requirements: just an IP camera, and they want calendar scheduling and low volume content delivery and some storage. So these will be great first users of the platform as well. That was about it.
Amazing, Marco. Thank you, as always, for all the hard work. 2 questions came to my mind about that lead time you'd mentioned. Is that like, 6-month to 1-year lead time industry standard? And then the second question is, what makes it take so long for someone to, come on board?
Yeah, so that's more the lead time for big existing customers. Like if you're dealing with a startup, of course, they can just use your platform. Lots of self-serving users that, for example, use Studio right now, they can just get going with an API. But if you already have existing infrastructure and existing a contract with another provider, and they want to make comparisons, is it even a good choice to switch over in the first place? And that's a big part of it because there's uncertainty, and they want to be certain before they spend months integrating your API instead of the existing one.
Right. Amazing. Well, again, thank you for the hard work. And, if you have any other updates, please drop them in the server.
Thank you.
All right. At the end, I always love a jam-packed fireside of really cool updates from folks. Again, just a quick call. If you're interested in real-time video AI, the Daydream API is open to builders. Next slide. And finally, if you saw anything you're interested in tapping into today, all the folks in SPEs are in our server, as well as those RFPs. They're on the forum, and you can ask any questions to myself or the rest of the foundation team in the governance channel or the general channel in the Discord. But I definitely want to highlight that now is really the time that we're starting to spread our wings on the ecosystem side, where we're really trying to get another round of strong inbound for continuing to grow, build, and develop Livepeer as a network. So definitely tap the people you know, share why you continue to show up in the Livepeer community, why it's important that you are participating in building the world's open video infrastructure. All these pieces are really important. I have my why for working here and for continuing to show up and drive the goals that have been set for me. But I'm really curious for everybody else, whether you're an SP or you're an orchestrator or you're a delegator or you're just a holder of LPT, why you're sticking around. We definitely want to promote and uplift those voices. So if you're posting on Twitter now with Lizzie on that side, we can definitely start boosting the why for Livepeer and start getting that message as diverse as it is out there. So again, thank you everyone for joining today's Fireside. And don't forget, on Friday, we have the Embody Network onboarding orchestrators. So if you are interested in that, that's on Friday. And that event is in the server. All right. See y'all later. Bye.